Okay, well, here we are today at the Recycling UK offices in Tarpley, and I'm with Craig Robinson from Managing Director of CycleLink. So Craig, what are the main quality issues that the Chinese mills you supply see from UK material?
They come in two factors. Firstly is moisture. The mills don't want to pay for water, they want to buy fibre, so it's a cost issue. Secondly, there's an issue around possibility of having mould and mildew because the container's travelling from UK to China over several weeks and months. The second category is of course non-pulpable contamination, so plastics, cans, and they're also particularly concerned about organic waste, food waste and waste that they can't particularly identify or categorise.
Have you seen a deterioration in quality from the UK in recent years?
I don't think I've seen an overall deterioration as such. Of course, we've seen a massive increase in the amount of commingled material that is collected at curbside, and therefore we've seen an increase in MRFs. But that percentage has stabilised over recent years. So for me, it's just an issue of managing that process, managing the collection process correctly, managing the MRF operations correctly to make the quality standard that the Chinese mills and the export market requires. So for us, it's just a question of being vigilant, working with our suppliers to manage that quality, but I've not seen an overall deterioration. I don't believe so. I mean, we buy from the right suppliers producing the right quality. Obviously, there are some people out there that don't produce the right quality, and we avoid purchasing from them where we can at all times.
Is this just a case of the mills wanting better quality material because it makes them more money, or are there other legal and regulatory issues surrounding it too?
The primary reason is the legal and regulatory, because of course there are the restrictions that China as a country imposes on the importation of recovered fibre. So we have to respect those standards, we have to respect the processes that the port authorities in China impose upon us. So that's the first and foremost concern. Secondly, of course, if fibre is contaminated, it is wet or it's got contamination, it is a cost to us. It's not about us making more money, but you've got to appreciate that China has choices. China has choices to purchase from many countries around the world. Obviously, US market is a primary one, UK also, Europe, but also mainland China. Mainland China collections are developing. They will develop into the future, both in terms of volume and in terms of quality. So if there is any reduction in demand from China, from our mills, then they will look at that optimization process and determine where's the best place to purchase from. That could be on a cost basis, it could be on a quality basis. So the UK needs to make sure that, one, we are cost competitive, and two, we have quality which is consistent and stable.
To what extent are you seeing more inspections both in China and the UK at the moment?
We see more inspections both in UK and in China. In UK, I think the EA field officers appear to be more active at the ports. They're looking at more material. We hear that obviously more containers have been stopped at UK ports than ever before and being returned to site for inspection. We as a company at CycleLink have invested heavily in our inspection resources. We employ more inspectors, we do more inspections, and we are targeting our inspections on a risk basis. So we're sending the guys where we believe the quality could be an issue or the stability of quality could be an issue. So from a UK perspective, we're inspecting more. I think other companies are inspecting more, and EA are inspecting more. In terms of China, we now see this new policy that's been implemented called National Sword, which started on the 1st of March and will continue until November. Questions have been asked about what is different about National Sword compared to other initiatives within the Green Fence programme. From our understanding, that certainly the Chinese authorities are increasing inspection at the ports. They are using X-ray equipment where they have it as well, which is a new feature that we've not seen previously. And also we're getting comments from our colleagues in China that there's more inspection at certain ports, and some people have been advised not to go to certain ports because of the very, very vigilant inspection regime. So overall, we're seeing a significant increase in inspection regime, and therefore, it's imperative for suppliers to note that and to look at their own quality and take action where they see fit to make sure that quality is to the right standard, and therefore the volume will continue to flow into the China market, which is the largest share of the export market from the UK.
You very kindly invited myself and a few other colleagues to a trip to China last year to your quality conference. What was the main reason behind the conference?
The thinking behind that was an event that we've seen a lot of talk over many years about quality, and I think there's, to some extent, there's some quality fatigue setting in, and we wanted to bring a number of parties together to actually sort of share knowledge, share experience. So bringing suppliers from the UK, from Europe, from US, from Japan, and Australia and mainland China together, along with our paper mills. There were other paper mills as well from China who are our competitors, who also attended. Yeah. And we also crucially had the port authorities as well represented. So we wanted to bring all these parties in the supply chain together to share experience, share knowledge, and hopefully raise awareness for each party to take away key messages. Yeah. That quality is important, how quality should be managed, and what the challenges are for the future.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was actually one of those conferences where I can actually genuinely say that I went and learnt a tremendous amount. And it was absolutely fascinating, and I think probably two things that stand out to me that I really learned was that I didn't fully comprehend how important moisture was, and and how that's viewed by the port authorities, and the potential harm to human health of a material that's travelled for 2 months in a container, and the mould and the mildew and everything that was it. And they were almost saying that they were more worried about sort of moisture and mould or everything than they were sort of outthrow, as long as of course the outthrow is not of an organic or nature. And also as well, I think sort of the ranking of quality and preferred supplies throughout sort of the Western world or even the Eastern world. Japan being the main preference because of Japanese culture, it's just absolutely perfect, good quality fibre. The States because proximity and fibre strength and what have you, and then the sort of the ranking of Europe thereafter. And it really brought home to me that it is a changing market. There's going to be, with Chinese domestic supply, it's going to be a changing market environment in the next sort of 5 to 10 years, and we keep saying it, but we've got to really position ourselves as top of the tree when it comes to the European and Western fibre, and make sure that the UK continues our fantastic success story and still has an ongoing market for the fibre.